I've been robbed. What's up everybody, Anthony Saratelli of Jersey Filmmaker here where my stuff used to be. I didn't get robbed, I was just goofing around. I switched locations. I'm sorry about the sound. I've obviously emptied out this place, but I wanted to shoot one last video here before I left. I started the channel here, so lots of good memories, lots of good content, but it's time to say goodbye. Let's move on to the new location. And here we are, just like that, in the new spot. I'm crazy excited to talk about this. My favorite thing is that I added a third monitor, which has been an amazing experience so far. I can't wait to talk about it, but you just gotta check this out. Oh, yeah. I've been looking forward to doing this episode. I've had plans to do it. I've been asked so many times, why do I use two iMacs as monitors? And I've wanted to answer that question, but I knew I was gonna have this badass setup, so I wanted to wait on that. But here we are. I can answer that question and explain to you the rest of my setup. So let's start by B-rolling the out of this thing. I'm loving this setup. Let me start by talking about how nice it is to have a third monitor. I've been wanting to do this for a long time and I finally got to it, and thankfully I didn't have to go buy a third monitor. It's just a TV. I think it's around a 31 or 32 inch that's been laying around in the family. So I scooped it up and threw it up on my wall, and I gotta tell you, it's the most amazing thing ever. So as I mentioned, it's just a Samsung television, so it's not a specialized editing monitor, definitely not a specialized color monitor. I just use it as reference so I could throw my program monitor up top, which gives me a lot more real estate to spread out my timeline, scopes, project files, and all those things, which is really nice. When I'm not editing, it comes in handy for lots of other little things, but one of the main things I'll end up using it for is to throw up a YouTube channel to catch up on my favorites while I'm doing other work, and I still have two full screens to work on, which is really nice because before the third monitor, I would put that kind of stuff on the second monitor, which would limit me to one monitor. I'm spoiled. But anyways, I could just keep talking about how much I love this third monitor, but it really does just give you so much more room to work. It keeps things a lot more clean. I just love it. So moving forward, I want to explain how I connect all these monitors, and I do that through an OWC Thunderbolt 2 dock. So the Thunderbolt dock is connected to my main iMac. I then run a second Thunderbolt cable to the second iMac, and in order to connect them, all you got to do is hit Command F2 on the iMac that you want to use as a second monitor. Now, I just recently learned that this doesn't work with every iMac or every MacBook Pro. I've recently also purchased a new MacBook Pro because my old one was slowing down, and I thought I could easily do the same thing by running a Thunderbolt cable from one to the other, and it just didn't work like that. For some devices, it's not physically possible to connect them like this, so you got to look up to see which ones can connect, which ones can't. I don't know them off the top of my head. I'll try to put a link in the description below. So be careful, don't just go do this thinking it's gonna work. It has to be a certain year that it was made in, or whatever the requirements are. They don't all work like this, but when they do, it's pretty awesome. And I mentioned this in my last episode, but the reason I do have an iMac computer as my second monitor is that this one's just straight up old. I think this is a model from between 2010, 2012, and it just wasn't keeping up with my workflow anymore with the 4K files, and instead of throwing it away, I just threw it up there as a second monitor. To get it to work, I'll use the HDMI port on the dock to run a cable to send the signal up to the monitor from the computer. Then open your preferences in Premiere Pro, go to Playback, select the monitor, in this case it's monitor 2 for some reason, click OK, and you will then get a full screen reference of anything you are playing back in your source or program panels. Moving on, we have the editor keys keyboard, which is pretty cool because it shows you all the shortcuts you can use in Premiere Pro. I definitely don't even pay attention to what the keys say anymore, it's more there for looks, but I gotta say I do randomly come across something that I didn't know that I just see on the keyboard, so It's always nice to learn a quick shortcut here and there. On the left side of the desk, I have the tangent ripple color wheels, which is really nice to do some color correction with. I don't do heavy color correction in grading, so this really isn't extremely helpful for me, but it does help with efficiency. I love the wheels up top actually more than the rolling balls. It's just nice to have when I am doing a lot of color stuff. I can kind of fly through things a lot quicker. On the right side, I have a Wacom tablet, which comes in handy for very specific things for me, but it comes very much in handy. I'll use it mostly for rotoscope work, which speeds up that process. I'll also use it in Photoshop if I need to use any pens or erasers, and I also use it a lot to sign documents, which is really nice because it looks and feels like a real signature. Up top are my M Audio speaker monitors. I've had these actually for a really long time. I think they're the M8 models. They do the job for me. I really like the way they sound. I haven't had any problems with them, and it seems like the final products come out nice, and this is what I listen through most of the time. Over here, I keep the microphone that I use for podcasting when I co-host the iFilmmaker podcast. Go check that out, ifilmmakerpodcast.com. I didn't have the F8 down here when I shot the B-roll, but I used that as a device to get the microphone into the computer, so that's gonna hang out down there as well. So way back behind the computers is where I keep my hard drives. I have a 20 terabyte Lacy RAID system that I use for my current files and recurring assets. I also pile on other hard drives anywhere from 5 to 8 terabytes, usually to hold any older files that I might want to access easily. And on top of that are some portable hard drives that bring projects in and out that might not be able to sit here because either they're going out to an editor or I'm traveling and need to bring them with me. So those go on top and I just pull them in and out when needed. And finally, some random stuff. I keep headphones in the back left side if I ever want to throw those on. I have a couple card readers. One's a Sony XQD card reader for the FS7. The other is an SD card reader just so I don't have to reach around the back of the computer to plug in an SD card. Lots of pens, pencils, highlighters, and markers in case I ever need them. The 3 keyboards are irrelevant. I just use the editor keys one, except for the second monitor's keyboard. I just use that to hit Command F2 to start up the second monitor. There's the charging cords as well in case I ever need to quickly charge my phone or anything like that, which is all run through a USB hub, which I have on the back of the computer. Of course, the red mat, which is nice to have some cushion for my arms. This is a standing desk. It's not electronic. I went cheap on that, so I have to roll it up and down by using the crank on the side. Next to the computer is a stand with all my smaller gear or things I want to access quickly. And I also have a charging station where I keep all my batteries organized and I can quickly pop them on so I can charge them up. And then finally, all the Pelican cases, which I store more stuff in and keeps my stuff safe when I travel, are all lined up underneath and around because I just don't have anywhere else to put them. And that's all I got for today. This actually took me a really long time to record to make sure I nailed everything for you guys. So if you liked it, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, click that little bell so you get alerts to all future episodes as well. If you have any comments or questions, as always, you can leave them right below or contact me on any of my social medias, Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, at Jersey Filmmaker. Quick announcement before we end, I'm going to the NAB show this year in Las Vegas between April 7th and 12th. I'll also be speaking at the ICANN booth Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, April 9th, 10th, and 11th from 3 to 3:30. So stop by, say hi, come listen to what I gotta say. Thanks so much for watching. Please remember, get out there, don't wait, go create. I'm winded. I'll see you next time.